Dubai Fitness Championship started in an iconic way yesterday over at the Burj Khalifa, but today we're bringing it into a new venue, the Coca-Cola Arena. And after more than 24 hours since event one, the athletes I speak with say that they are excited to tackle 3 events today with 300 points on the line. Who doesn't love kicking off the day with some barbells? Event 2, Hang Clean Ladder. As expected, the early bars pretty much looked like a warm-up for these athletes. It wasn't until the 4th bar at 220 pounds that some of the women didn't advance. Athletes only had 1 shot to lift the bar, and if they failed, they moved on to the tie break, which was 5 hang squat cleans at 100 pounds for the ladies and 220 pounds for the men. Fast forward to the 236.5 bar, Jamie Simmons. She makes the lift after bouncing out of the squat and fighting to stand it up. But the event got really interesting after the women blew the programming out of the water as a handful of athletes cleared all 8 bars. From there, the women then cleared 3 additional bars. Oyana Moya and Karen Frey continued to advance, but it was Frey who hit 268 pounds, making it look easy. A handful of the athletes we spoke to on both the men and women's side said they PR'd from today's event. But the women weren't the only athletes who impressed us on that barbell. The men were equally as savage, speeding through the weights. And if you looked at their faces, you could see that they too were celebrating every successful lift. Con Porter, for instance, was having a wild time on the competition floor, giving us the entertainment that we all deserve to see at competition. He ultimately bowed out at 374 pounds, and it was Reggie Fassa and Fabian Benito who advanced to the final bar, 385 pounds. Both missed, and it was to the tie break. It was a true photo finish, with Benito crossing just 0.06 seconds faster than Fassa. But the cherry on top to that win, it was also a PR.
It's amazing. It's my PR of hang squat clean, squat clean. Yeah.
Those are all PRs today?
Yeah. All PR.
How many kilos?
No, my PR of squat clean is 171, and it's 172 of his hang squat clean is so amazing, and so close to bring the 175. I'm so happy.
On to the next, get a grip. 3 rounds for time of cows on the ski erg, toes to bar, and snatches on a short bar with weights going up. If you haven't played around with a short bar before, well, it certainly makes that weight feel heavier, and it could impact the athlete's game plan going into this one. In Heat 1, Mannion Agonese was leading the workout for the majority of the event, but it was the final snatch weight at 132 pounds that determined this workout. Freya Moosberger came from the middle of the pack and was just significantly faster at cycling that snatch weight, which ultimately gave her that heat win.
I knew that it wasn't won in the first 2 rounds, and that jump to the 135 bar is big. So I just kept a solid pace and I stayed really consistent, and we've been working on that this off-season a lot.
Heat 2, similar story. Matilda Guards led her heat, but once again, it was Karen Frey who took her 2nd event win of the day.
I feel great because gymnastic movement is not my favorite, but there was a lot of heavy barbell, so finally it finished good.
While Amy Kringle struggled on that last barbell, all the women cheered her on as she finished the event in just under that 22-minute time cap. If after the women you thought to ignore the early leader, for the men, you'd be wrong. Luka Jukic, Lazar Jukic, and Gorgas Karavas were front of the pack right from the get-go, but it was Luka who took home the event win. Luka's first event win in a major competition was this year at the French Throwdown. He competed shortly after placing 6th at the Lowland semifinal, falling just short of making his 2nd appearance to the CrossFit Games. Event 3 earned him his 2nd major event win, a win that not only proves his fitness, but one that he was able to do so on a stage next to his brother with both his parents in the stands to cheer him on.
This is the first time for them to watch both of us on this level of the competition. Last time they watched us, I actually watched only Lazar in 2018 at Regionals. At that time I was in the stands, so when there was opportunity for them to come, my heart was full. And that's just additional motivation, you know. I have people in the stands that I can't let down. Back to back the whole event, and I think the last those 2 bars decided. Man, it was a hard one. After I came to the bar, I had 3 rep lead, and I was like, if you lose this, it's on you. 2 bad events to start the weekend. And I said to myself, okay, 2 worst events are out of the way, now it's time for show. Let's go.
The second heat of men, Brent Fikowski ultimately took first in his heat and third overall, but all eyes were wide open when we watched him split snatch that last barbell. And if you know the professor, there certainly was a reason why he chose that strategy.
I mean, I've tried the split in training a bit with the shorty bar. It works for me when I need to do it, because with the short bar I can't hit full extension like I would on a regular snatch. Like I can power snatch that no problem with a normal bar, but I don't get it as high, I don't extend as well when my hands are more like a clean. So the split snatch seemed to work, and I had a bit of a lead, so I was like, oh, let's try a squat. And like, at least the lead on my heat. Like, let's try a squat, see how it feels.
To the end of the day, ride or die. Legless rope climbs and a full-on sprint on that echo bike, because for this one, it was elimination style. To the women, let's fast forward to the final round with Perrin, Carlson, Simmons, Frey, and Garnes. Carlson was first off the bike, and that was her opportunity to immediately jump up the rope, sprint to the finish, and secure her event win. For the men, our eyes were back on the Jukic brothers. While it's not entirely the same, in the CrossFit programmed event at semifinals, 2014 Regional Event 5 with running and legless rope climbs, Lazar finished just 2 seconds ahead of Luka, 2 scores that rank higher than any other male athlete on the field. Fikowski, Fiebig, Akai, and both Jukic brothers, who certainly put on an incredible finale to the end of the night. Lazar took 1 and Luka took 2, this time just about 3 seconds separating their placement.
You know, he wants to prove himself right now, and that's great. He's having amazing competition today. Yesterday started rough for both of us, but we're getting better, and we're gonna show what we trained tomorrow. Now, when everybody's tired, we're gonna see who trained.
Scoring disputes from today were reviewed at the end of competition. Therefore, scores and results are unofficial until the start of the final day. After a big second day that included 2 event wins, Frey heads into the final day of competition as your leader, while Simmons is 45 points behind in second. And thanks to a 4th place finish on event 2 and an event win on event 4, Carlson has jumped into 3rd, just 5 points behind Simmons. With 1 day and 4 events to go, any one of those top 3 women still have a realistic shot at the top spot. As for the men's leaderboard, it isn't one many would have predicted. While Fikowski leading the way is no surprise, Fiebig, who was 36th at the games last summer as a rookie, sitting in 2nd, is arguably more so, as is Akai, a 2021 semifinals athlete who is sitting in 4th. As for Lazar Jukic, who had a tough first 2 events, he sits lower than expected, with his brother Luka, who he usually beats, 2 spots ahead in 8th. That being said, the leaderboard is a tight one. Luka in 8th is just 30 points out of 3rd, and Lazar is just 40. So, any one of the top 10 men right now still has a legitimate spot at the podium, promising an exciting final day in Dubai. We still have 1 more day of competition with 400 points on the line. 2 events we know, 2 are still unknown. One thing we do know though is these athletes are here to fight. Reporting from Dubai, I'm Lauren Kalil.